Your plane lands in Colombia. You step off. Everything feels normal until the doors open. Suddenly you're being herded towards passport control. Signs are in Spanish. The line splits into things you don't recognize. And in about 10 minutes you're thinking, am I doing this right? Or am I about to mess something up internationally? Then you clear customs, walk out in the terminal, and it happens. Taxi, 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 Uber, Uber, transport. It's not actually 100 people, but in that moment, it feels like 100. And now you have to decide, who do you trust? What's legit, what's normal, and what's the fastest way to accidentally start your Colombia trip on hard mode? Good news. None of this is dangerous. Bad news, doing it wrong is how people get stressed, overcharged, or just unnecessarily uncomfortable. So let's fix that. Hey, I'm Matt, the Americano. If this is your first time ever setting foot in Colombia, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to expect step by step from the moment your plane door opens to the moment you get into a car and leave the airport. We're talking which passport control line you should be in, what to say and what absolutely not to say, how customs actually works, why everyone suddenly yells taxi at you, what your real transportation options are, and how to do all of this calmly, confidently, and safely without overthinking it. This isn't fear-based, this isn't tourist panic, and this definitely isn't one of those everything is dangerous videos. Colombia is an incredible country, but it does have its own systems, rules, and rhythms. Once you understand them, everything gets easier fast. So whether you're visiting for a week, testing the digital nomad life, or just curious what landing in Colombia is really like, let me show you how your first hour should actually go. All right, your plane lands. The seatbelt sign turns off, and immediately something happens that surprises a lot of first-time visitors. People stand up, fast, sometimes very fast. In much of Latin America, the concept of we exit row by row is more of a suggestion than a rule. You'll often see people pop up, grab bags, and start inching forward even if they're 10 rows back. It's not rude, it's not aggressive, it's just a thing. Latin Americans are some of the warmest, friendliest people you'll ever meet. This is just one of those cultural quirks where patience briefly takes a coffee break. Here's what you should do. Stay seated if you want. Stand when it makes sense. Don't get annoyed. Don't try to police the aisle. There's no prize for being first off the plane. Everyone ends up in the same place anyway. Once you're off the aircraft, things immediately get easier. At this point, do not think. Do not make decisions. Do not improvise. Just follow the flow. You'll walk through a jet bridge or down a hallway with clear signage, airport staff directing traffic, a steady stream of humans all going to the same place. This part is actually one of the smoothest parts of the entire arrival process. You're not navigating Colombia yet. You're navigating an airport. And Colombian airports, especially the international ones, are modern, organized, and used to foreigners. So take a breath, follow the crowd, and remember, you haven't done anything wrong yet, and you're doing just fine. After you follow the flow, you'll arrive at passport control. This is where people tend to overthink things, so let's simplify it. You'll see two main lines. Actually, there's a few more, but there's just two that most people are navigating to. Colombianos and extranjeros. This is you. Get in extranjeros. It means foreigners. No exceptions, no shortcuts. When it's your turn, you'll step up, hand over your passport, and answer a few basic questions. This is not an interrogation. It's closer to a formality. So what to say? Keep it short, boring, and normal. Tourism, vacation, visiting friends, here for a few weeks. That's it. What not to do? Don't overshare. Don't explain your entire life plan. Don't talk about business, ideas, startups, or seeing how things go. And absolutely do not joke about finding a Colombian girlfriend, finding a wife, never leaving, or anything remotely romantic or sexual. If you're a guy especially, just don't. It's not funny here, it doesn't land the way you think it will, and it's an unnecessary red flag. Be polite, be calm. Be forgettable. They may ask where you're staying. Have a hotel name, Airbnb, or address ready. A screenshot is perfect. Wi-Fi is not guaranteed at this exact moment. No one is trying to trick you. They're just checking boxes. You may have seen videos or posts claiming Colombian immigration routinely searches phones. Here's the honest, real-world context. I've entered Colombia so many times it's not even funny. I've never had my phone checked. I've never personally witnessed it either. I've asked close friends, and none of us have experienced or seen this happen. That doesn't mean it's impossible. Border agents anywhere can do secondary inspections if they believe something is off. But for normal tourists who answer questions clearly, don't joke around, don't act nervous or evasive, and aren't doing anything illegal, this is not a common or routine experience. The takeaway isn't fear, it's behavior. If you act normal, you get treated normal. And once you're stamped in, congratulations, you're officially in Colombia, and the stressful part is already over. Once you clear passport control, you'll head straight into baggage claim, and this is usually one of the least stressful parts of the entire arrival. Here's why. How fast this goes depends almost entirely on timing. I've had passport control take 10 minutes when things are quiet, an hour to an hour and a half when multiple international flights land at the same time. Because of that, one of two things will happen when you reach the carousel. Scenario 1, your bag is still coming out. Great. Stand back, watch the belt, grab your bag, move on. Scenario 2, your bag is already off the belt. Also normal. If bags have been circling too long, airport staff will often remove them and place them in neat rows or group together near the carousel. So if you don't see your bag immediately, look around the floor area first before panicking. This happens all the time. Now, a pro traveler move, track your bags. I strongly recommend tracking devices in every checked bag. My setup, an Apple AirTag and a tile tracker. Why both? Well, AirTags are fantastic if you're surrounded by iPhones. In Latin America, iPhones are far less common than in the US or Europe, which means relying on AirTags alone can give you gaps. Tile fills that gap by leveraging Android users, which are far more common throughout Colombia and Latin America in general. This combo has saved me time, stress, and arguments with airline staff all over the world. If your bag didn't make it, you'll know. You'll know where it is, and you won't be guessing or hoping someone finds it. One more tip, keep your eyes on your bag while you're waiting. Colombian airports are safe and well monitored, but like anywhere else, bags look alike. People grab the wrong one, and mistakes happen more often than theft. Grab your bag, confirm it's yours, and head towards customs. At this point, you're almost done, and the real Colombian part is about to begin. After baggage claim, you're funneled into customs, and this is where people expect drama that almost never happens. There are usually two possible outcomes, and both are normal. Scenario 1, the walk-through exit. Sometimes you'll simply be waved through. No stopping, no questions, no inspection. You'll grab your bags, walk forward, and suddenly you're out. If this happens, don't celebrate out loud. Just keep walking like this is the most normal thing in the world, because it is. Scenario 2, X-ray conveyor. And this is more common. More often than not, you'll be directed to place your bags on an X-ray conveyor. This is not a red flag. This is not personal. This is just routine screening. And to be honest, it happens in other parts of the world. And a fun fact, I sat next to Billy Zane, the actor, on a flight from, I think it was Frankfurt to Ibiza. He was there to film a movie, and we were both on row 1. And we basically had to hang out together for a few minutes while we were waiting for our bags to come out on the foreigner belt, and we got them screened the same way. So it's not a big thing. It's normal. You put your bags on the belt, they get scanned, and you keep moving. In my experience, this is the most common outcome, and it's still easy mode. Customs isn't trying to hassle tourists. They're mainly looking for commercial quantities of goods, restricted items, obvious smuggling attempts. If you've got normal traveler stuff, totally fine. Personally, I've brought food products from the US, not meat though, bottles of wine, electronics, personal gear, and I've never been asked to open my bag. As a general guideline, wine and alcohol are allowed typically up to 3 bottles per person. Personal electronics are fine. Normal snacks and packaged food are usually fine. If something is questionable, they'll simply ask, not accuse. The mindset that gets you through smoothly? Move when told. Answer only if asked. Don't joke. Don't volunteer information. Customs works best when you treat it like airport furniture. Acknowledge it and move past it. Once you clear this point, you're officially through the system. The doors ahead lead into the main terminal, and that's where things suddenly get loud. This is the moment everyone remembers. You push through the final set of doors and bam, sound. Taxi, 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 Uber, transport. It's not actually 100 people yelling at you, but it feels like it. Here's the key thing to understand. This is not chaos. This is not danger. This is sales. And it's typical across all of Latin America. In Colombia, especially at airports, drivers don't wait quietly behind ropes hoping you'll notice them. They come to you loudly, repeatedly, confidently. And if you look foreign, tired, or confused, congratulations. You are now the world's most popular person for about 30 seconds. What not to do? Don't stop. Don't engage. Don't answer questions. Don't negotiate. Don't explain where you're going. Even saying no invites a follow-up pitch. The moment you stop walking, you become a conversation. What to do instead? Pick a direction and walk with purpose. Eyes forward, bag on your shoulder, phone away, pretend you're late for something important. Even if the only thing you're late for is your hotel bed. If someone says taxi, Uber, transport, you don't respond. You don't smile. You don't acknowledge. You just keep moving. This isn't rude here. It's understood. So here's an important clarification. The Uber guys Some people inside the terminal will say Uber. They're not Uber. They're private drivers offering a ride at a negotiated price, which may or may not include the invisible gringo surcharge. There's no app, no trip record, no tracking, no accountability. For a first-time arrival, this is not your move. This part feels overwhelming because it's your first exposure to unsolicited attention in Colombia. Once you've been here a bit, you'll barely notice it. Right now, all you need to remember is this: you're not choosing transportation yet. You're just exiting the building. Your real safe options come after this moment. And once you know where you're going, the noise instantly disappears. This is where first-timers make their biggest mistakes, not because they're careless, but because everyone is talking at once and you're tired. So here's the simple truth, ranked from smartest to don't do that. Option 1, official airport taxi stand. This is my default. This is still my go-to when arriving in Colombia. Ignore everyone yelling taxi and walk directly to the official taxi lane or kiosk outside the terminal. In Bogota, the meter must be on. If you don't see the taxi driver push the little button on the meter, ask him to. In Medellin, they have a flat airport rate to get you to the city. When you do this, the cars are clean, the drivers are licensed, there's no negotiation. The typical cost for me in Bogota is 40,000 to 70,000 Colombian pesos, about $11 to $19, depending on where I'm living at that moment in the city. In Medellin, it's typically 90,000 pesos, primarily because the Medellin airport is really far from the city. But a spoiler alert, it's almost always cheaper going back to the airport than leaving it. Is it perfect? No. Is it dramatically safer than random offers inside the terminal? Yes. And here's a pro move. Take a quick photo of the license plate of the taxi and text or WhatsApp it to someone you know. It takes 5 seconds and buys a lot of peace of mind. Option 2, real Uber. Yes, but annoying. I used to do real Uber pickups from the airport a lot. It works and it's logged, but there's a downside. Uber is technically illegal in Colombia, so you usually have to walk out to the parking lot and drivers park wherever they can, and finding the car can feel like a scavenger hunt with jet lag. After doing this enough times, I just got tired of it. Safe? Yes. Convenient after a long flight? Not really. Option 3. Ordering a taxi through the Uber app. Underrated and solid. This is a really good middle ground and one most people don't realize exists. You can use the Uber app to order a taxi instead of a private Uber. It's still logged. How it works, you arrive on the lower level, arrivals. The concept of gravity helps baggage claim. You go upstairs to departures, and that's where the Uber ordered taxis typically pick you up. Why this is a great option? Well, price is shown in advance, or at least a clear range. There's no negotiation. The ride is logged. The driver info is recorded, and it's a much easier pickup than hunting a parked Uber. This works well from the airport, from hotels, from apartments, especially going back to the airport. For a reference, my Uber rides to the airport are usually $7 to $10. Option 4, and I don't even know if I call this an option, the Uber guys inside the terminal. I kind of just say don't. Early on, like my first couple of years in Colombia, I talked to some of these guys. They'll say Uber, private car, same thing. It's not the same thing. Here's why I never do this. They often quote gringo prices. There's no app. There's no trip recording, no tracking. No one knows you got into that car, even when the price sounds reasonable. The risk to reward ratio is terrible. I don't negotiate, I don't explain, I don't engage. I just keep walking. So the short version, arriving tired, official taxi stand. Leaving later, an Uber app or Uber ordered taxi. The random guy yelling Uber? Absolutely not. Transportation in Colombia isn't dangerous, it's just noisy. Once you know which options are real and which ones are theater, the stress disappears instantly. Now this part catches a lot of first-time visitors off guard, so let's reset expectations before you need them. The short version, English is not widely spoken in Colombia. That doesn't mean people aren't smart. It doesn't mean they're unfriendly. It just means English never became a daily use skill here the way it did in parts of Europe. So here's some rough real-world expectations by city. These aren't scientific. They're experience-based, boots-on-the-ground reality. In Bogota, it's maybe 1 out of 10 to 12 people who speak English. In Medellin, it's closer to 1 out of 5 or 6 just because there are so many foreigners there. And Cartagena is probably around 1 out of 5 or 6 as well because of so much tourism there. In Cali, it's more like 1 out of 12. Barranquilla is also around 1 out of 12 to 1 out of 15. Bucaramanga is even lower, and that number drops fast once you leave tourist bubbles. Where you're most likely to find English speakers is airport staff, immigration officers, hotels, higher-end restaurants, doctors and hospitals, and younger professionals, people working in tourism or tech. Where you won't reliably find English is taxi drivers, small shops, street vendors, local restaurants, security guards, building staff, and that's normal. It's not a problem. Google Translate will actually let you download Spanish offline on your phone before you arrive in case you don't have cell service. And Google Translate also has a camera feature where you basically point the camera at some words and it will translate it in real time on the screen. It's best to learn some simple Spanish words before you come. You don't need fluent Spanish for your first visit. You just need functional humility. Smile, speak slowly, use your phone. People will meet you halfway. Colombians are generally patient, polite, curious, and genuinely helpful. They're not annoyed you don't speak Spanish, but they do appreciate effort. And here's the funny part. Once you stop expecting English, communication actually gets easier. You relax, they relax, and suddenly everything works just fine. Think of English in Colombia as a bonus, not a baseline, and your entire trip gets smoother. Now let's talk money, because this is where people lose cash immediately without realizing it. Avoid currency exchange counters, especially at the airport. Airport exchange booths are the worst possible rate you'll get in Colombia. Not slightly bad, offensively bad. And it's not just Colombia, it's literally anywhere in the world. Don't ever use a currency exchange place. If you exchange money there, you're basically tipping the booth for existing, and it's a big tip. What to do instead? Use ATMs inside the airport or in the city. Decline the ATM's suggested conversion. Always choose to be charged in Colombian pesos, not US dollars. Your bank's rate will beat any exchange counter or ATM by a mile. Credit cards work at hotels, malls, and nicer restaurants. Cash is still king for taxis, small shops, tips, street food, and I would get some cash early, but not all your cash. Now, your phone is your lifeline your first day. Handle this early. If you have Verizon or AT&T, you can enable international roaming. It's usually around $10 per day. It works instantly, there's no setup required, and it's great for short trips or day one convenience. And if you have T-Mobile, you likely already have free international roaming. And a cool little tip for you there, T-Mobile is actually the German phone company, Deutsche Telekom. The speeds are generally 2G or 3G, which isn't that fast. So the translation, you get WhatsApp messages and Google Maps. Photos and videos are going to be painfully slow. Still perfectly usable for navigation and messaging. Now for an eSIM option. Olafly. If your phone supports eSIM, this is one of the easiest solutions. Activate before you land, no physical SIM, and reliable data. I have a link in the description for them. You can also go to a local carrier store and buy a prepaid SIM. Tigo, Claro, Movistar, ETB. My personal favorites are Tigo and ETB. One caveat, ETB currently only offers physical SIMs, so newer iPhones are eSIM only. So if you're rocking a newer iPhone, check compatibility first. Now let's talk about personal space and street awareness. Don't give papaya. You'll hear this phrase a lot in Colombia. No dar papaya. It means don't make yourself an easy target. What that looks like in practice, don't walk with your phone out. Don't stand still looking lost. Don't flash expensive watches or jewelry. Don't wear headphones that block awareness. This isn't paranoia, it's situational awareness. Confidence and purpose are the best deterrents. Now let's talk about what to wear day one. Blend in. That's the goal. Good choices, neutral collars, comfortable shoes, casual but clean, a light jacket, especially in Bogota. Avoid flashy watches, loud designer logos, I just landed outfits. You don't need to dress poorly, just don't dress expensive. Now let's talk about cultural mindset shift. This is the most important adjustment. Colombia isn't hostile, it's relationship based. People value politeness, respect, calm energy, eye contact, courtesy. Volume doesn't mean anger. Directness can feel abrupt. Sales pressure isn't personal. Smile, be patient, say hello before asking anything. Ask, ¿Cómo estás? That's so common. And here's the surprising part. Once you slow down and stop comparing everything to how it works back home, Colombia becomes incredibly easy to navigate and incredibly welcoming. You're not visiting a dangerous place. You're visiting a different system. Learn the rhythm and the country opens up fast. And this isn't just Colombia. This is anywhere you go in the world. Every culture is different. Every culture is cool. If this is your first time coming to Colombia, here's the big takeaway. Nothing you experienced today was dangerous. It was just unfamiliar. Once you understand the flow, the airport, the noise, the transport options, the culture, Colombia stops feeling chaotic and starts feeling easy. Most problems people run into here aren't bad luck. there are information gaps. And now you don't have those gaps anymore. If you're landing soon, drop a comment below. What city are you arriving in? Bogota, Medellin, Cartagena, Cali, someplace else? I read the comments and other travelers help too. If this video helped you feel calmer, smarter, or more prepared, hit like. It tells YouTube that this is worth showing to other first-time travelers. And subscribe, because this channel is about real-world travel, not postcard nonsense. If you want deeper practical insights beyond YouTube, I run a few free email newsletters. The Passport, it's about travel, expat life, and global living insights. Bogota Nomads, it's where we meet in person and have dinners and do fun things. And it's also free. And then there's Brokor for international real estate. They're short, useful, and written like a human, not marketing spam. All the links are in the description below. Just remember, Colombia rewards preparation. You've got that now. Travel smart, don't give papaya, and enjoy the ride. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.